How to actually stay calm if someone tries to trigger you. You know exactly what it feels like. It usually starts in the stomach, a sudden knot like you've just swallowed a stone. Then the heat rushes up your neck. Your heart starts hammering against your ribs like a bird trapped in a cage. Someone just said that one thing, that specific phrase, in that specific, condescending tone. And instantly, your rational mind vanishes. The intelligent, kind, logical person you are, gone. Replaced by something primal, something that wants to snap back, to hurt them, to defend itself, to explode. Maybe you do explode. You scream, you say things you can't take back, and you burn a bridge you needed to walk on. Or maybe you're the type who implodes. You swallow the poison, you freeze, you smile politely while your insides are screaming, and then you spend the next 3 nights lying awake at 3 a.m. replaying the argument, thinking of the perfect comeback you were too paralyzed to say. But here is the brutal truth that most people will never admit. The moment you react, you lose. When you let someone else dictate your emotional state, you are handing them the remote control to your life. You are letting them drive. You are essentially saying, I have no control over my own happiness. Here, you take it. But what if I told you that you can become immune? What if you could stand in the middle of a chaotic argument with insults flying at you and feel absolutely nothing? Not suppression, not pretending, but genuine, unshakable calm. In this video, I'm going to hand you the psychological blueprint to becoming untriggerable. By the end of this, you won't just know how to stay calm. You will understand how to turn every trigger into your greatest source of power. The biology of the beast. First, I need you to take a breath. Seriously, let your shoulders drop away from your ears. Because before we fix this, I need you to understand something crucial. If you struggle with your temper, or if you cry when you're angry, or if you shut down when someone raises their voice, you are not broken. You are not weak. You are simply biological. For 200,000 years, your brain was wired for one specific goal: survival. It wasn't designed to help you navigate a passive-aggressive email from your boss or a rude comment from a family member. It was designed to keep you from being eaten by a saber-toothed tiger. When you get triggered, your brain doesn't see an annoying person. It sees a predator. Your amygdala, the brain's smoke detector, hijacks the system. It cuts the power line to your prefrontal cortex. That's the part of your brain responsible for logic, reason, and future planning. This is why you say stupid things when you're angry. Literally, your smart brain has been turned off to save energy for the fight. Your body floods with cortisol and adrenaline. Your blood thickens to prepare for injury. Your vision tunnels. So please, stop beating yourself up for having these reactions. It is a default factory setting. It is hardware, not software. However, here is the difference between an animal and a master of their own mind. An animal has no choice but to react. Stimulus, response. Poke the bear attacks. But you have a choice. Most people live their entire lives on autopilot. They are like puppets, and everyone around them, their partner, their parents, rude strangers, and traffic, is pulling the strings. They push a button, you react. Push, react. You feel exhausted because you are constantly defending a fortress that doesn't need to be defended. You are burning valuable life energy trying to control how other people treat you. But the secret to staying calm isn't controlling them. You will never control them. The secret is realizing that their behavior has absolutely nothing to do with you. We often say, "He made me angry." No, he said words. The anger was generated inside you based on how you interpreted those words. This is a massive shift. It means that no one has the power to make you feel anything unless you give them permission. And right now, we are going to revoke that permission. The gap and the reset. There's a concept that changed my life. and I believe it will change yours. It comes from Viktor Frankl, a psychiatrist who survived the horrors of the concentration camps. If anyone had a reason to lose his mind, to be consumed by hatred and rage, it was him. He lost everything. He was tortured. He was starved. But in the middle of that hell, he found a secret. He wrote, "Between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space is our power to choose our response. In our response lies our growth and our freedom." For most of us, there is no space. Stimulus, insult, response, explosion. They happen simultaneously. The art of staying calm is simply the art of widening that gap. We need to stretch that split second into 2 seconds, then 5 seconds. But how do you do that when your blood is boiling? You can't just think your way out of a biological hijack. You need to hack the body first. The moment you feel triggered, your breathing becomes shallow. This signals your brain that you are in danger. To widen the gap, you must manually override the system. I want you to learn the physiological sigh. This is the fastest way to offload carbon dioxide and calm the nervous system, backed by neurobiology. It's 2 short inhales through the nose, followed by 1 long, extended exhale through the mouth. Let's try it. Inhale, short pause. Inhale again to top it off. Now long sigh out through the mouth. Do that twice. What just happened? You sent a signal from your diaphragm to your brain saying, "We are safe, the tiger is gone." That physical action buys you the space. In that space, you step out of the movie. Imagine you were watching a movie in a theater. The character on the screen is being yelled at. Do you feel physically threatened? No. You are the observer. When you are in a heated situation, I want you to visualize yourself floating out of your body. Look at yourself. Look at the other person. See them as characters. Oh, look, the boss character is raising his voice. His face is red. And look at my character. My hands are shaking. Interesting. By labeling the experience, you detach from it. You move from being the anger to observing the anger. You cannot be overwhelmed by something you are looking at from a distance.
I want to pause here for just a second. We are about to get into the advanced psychological frameworks, the NPC theory, and the mirror principle. These are the tools that actually rewire how you perceive reality. But if you're finding value in this so far, if you want to stop reacting and start leading your life, I invite you to subscribe to the channel. We are building a community of people who are tired of being average, tired of being controlled by their emotions, and are ready to master their potential. Click that button, turn on notifications. Don't let this be just another video you watch and forget. Make this the start of your transformation. Okay, let's go deeper. Because breathing is great, but what do you do when the person standing in front of you is trying to tear you down?
The NPC Framework. Let's talk about the story. When someone cuts you off in traffic, why do you get mad? Because you tell yourself a story. That guy is a jerk. He thinks he's better than me. He disrespected me. But what if the story was different? What if the story was, that guy is rushing to the hospital because his wife is in labor? Would you still be angry? No. The anger vanishes instantly. You'd probably hope he makes it in time. The action, cutting you off, didn't change. Only your story changed. And because the story changed, your emotion changed. This proves that you are not reacting to reality, you are reacting to your interpretation of reality. To stay calm with toxic people, use what I call the NPC framework. In video games, an NPC is a non-player character. They have pre-programmed lines of dialogue. If you walk up to a guard in a game, he might say, "Get out of here." Do you get offended? Do you scream at the screen? "How dare you speak to me like that? Do you know who I am?" Of course not. He's a program. He has a script. He cannot help it. Here is the secret. When someone is being rude, aggressive, or manipulative, they are running a script. Their script is written by their childhood trauma, their insecurities, their bad day, their low blood sugar, or their lack of self-love. When they lash out at you, they are just reciting their lines. If your partner comes home and snaps at you about the dishes, and you know they had a terrible day at work, realize this isn't about the dishes. They are venting pressure. You are just the closest outlet. When you see them as an NPC running a stress script, you don't take it personally. You get curious. You think, wow, this person is really suffering right now. Compassion is the ultimate shield. It is impossible to be furious and curious at the same time. Instead of defending yourself, I did do the dishes. You can disarm them by addressing the subtext. You seem really on edge. Did something happen at work? Watch what happens. You just stepped out of the fight. You dropped the rope. You can't have a tug of war if one person refuses to pick up the rope.
Gray rocks and mirrors. Sometimes compassion doesn't work. Sometimes you are dealing with a narcissist, a bully, or someone who genuinely wants to get a rise out of you. They feed on your reaction. Your anger is their fuel. In these cases, you must become the gray rock. A gray rock is boring. It is uninteresting. If you kick it, it doesn't scream. If you yell at it, it doesn't cry. When someone tries to provoke you, give them zero emotional sustenance. They say, "You're always screwing things up." You say, in a flat, monotone voice, "I hear that you feel that way." They say, "Are you listening to me? You're an idiot." You say, "I'm listening. Is there anything else?" You are polite, but you are vacant. You are not offering them any hooks to grab onto. When they realize they cannot control your emotions, they will eventually get bored and move on to an easier target. But let's take it a step further. This is the hardest pill to swallow, but it is the most medicinal. The mirror principle. Usually, the things that trigger us the most are the things we are secretly insecure about ourselves. Think about it. If someone walked up to you and called you a purple elephant, you wouldn't get mad. You would laugh. Why? Because you know you aren't a purple elephant. There is no hook for that insult to catch on. You are secure in your humanity. But if someone calls you lazy, or selfish, or unsuccessful, and you explode, it's usually because a small, hidden part of you fears that it might be true. The trigger is a spotlight. It is showing you where your armor is weak. If you were completely 100% secure in your work ethic, being called lazy wouldn't hurt. It would just sound incorrect, like being called a purple elephant. So the next time you feel a massive surge of anger, ask yourself, what part of me believes this? This is why staying calm is the ultimate self-development tool. Your enemies are your greatest teachers. They are pointing out exactly what you need to heal. Don't shoot the messenger. Thank them internally. They just saved you years of therapy by showing you exactly where your insecurity lives.
We are approaching the final, most powerful mindset shift. This is the one that separates the Stoics from the suppressors. This is the key to total freedom. But before I give you this final key, if you've had an aha moment so far, maybe it was the NPC concept or the mirror principle, hit that like button. It helps this message reach more people who are drowning in their own reactions.
Now, let's talk about radical acceptance. The root of all anger is an argument with reality. We get angry because we think people should be different. He shouldn't be so rude. She shouldn't be so late. Traffic shouldn't be this bad. My children should listen to me. But look around. They are rude. She is late. The traffic is bad. When you argue with reality, you lose 100% of the time. You are screaming at the rain for being wet. You are yelling at a rock for being hard. Radical acceptance doesn't mean you like it. It doesn't mean you condone bad behavior. It simply means you acknowledge facts without emotional resistance. He is being rude. That is what is happening right now. Once you accept the present moment exactly as it is, the anger evaporates. Anger requires the friction of "it shouldn't be this way." When you remove the should, you are left with clarity. And from a place of clarity, you can take effective action. You can set a boundary. You can leave the room. You can fire the employee. You can break up with the partner. But you do it with the calm precision of a surgeon, not the messy hacking of a butcher. Think about that difference. A butcher cuts to destroy. He hacks. He makes a mess. A surgeon cuts to heal. She is precise. She is calm. Her hand is steady. When you react in anger, you are a butcher. You say things you can't take back. You destroy relationships you value. You create a mess that you have to clean up later. When you respond from calm acceptance, you are a surgeon. You remove the toxicity from your life with precision, without losing your own peace in the process. You don't need to scream to be powerful. In fact, screaming is evidence of a loss of power. The person who stays calm is the person who holds all the cards. Conclusion: the superpower. Imagine walking into work tomorrow or your next family gathering wearing this invisible armor. Someone throws a barb at you. You feel the initial spark, the biology, but you catch it. You breathe. You widen the gap. You see them as an NPC running a script. You realize their anger is about their pain, not your worth. You check your mirror to see if there's anything to learn. You accept the moment as it is, and you respond with silence, or a calm question, or a smile. You watch their confusion. They expected a fight. They expected to pull your strings and watch you dance. But the strings are cut. You are no longer a puppet. You are the master. This is the ultimate power. It's not about controlling the world. It's about realizing that the world never controlled you to begin with. You are not the storm. You are the shelter. Stay calm, stay free.